Well, good morning, Bear Nation. I'm Bear with BearIndependent.com, the bear of the internet. Most of y'all know that. Some of y'all are like, who the hell is this guy? Sup? Welcome. If you're new here, you know what to do. You know the YouTube games. Ring the little bell icon, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment for the algo. If you're not new here, you know what to do. Leave the comment for the algo. Watch the show, please. Share it with somebody you love. And if you've been here for a hot minute and you're like, Bear, why did you unsubscribe me? It wasn't me. It was YouTube. Unless in the very rare instances that you're a piece of garbage, which then I did unsubscribe you. But the vast majority of you know that was the YouTube algo. So go ahead and resubscribe. Okay, Bear. All right, good talk. Listen, we're going to do the brief today. It is the 5th of May. Apparently yesterday was International Star Wars Homosexuality Day. But today is the 5th of May. And we're going to do the brief. We're talking about economic stuff. Of course, the brief is always brought to you by this company right here, refugemedical.com, of which I am the founder and CEO. We'll talk more about that later in the show. And this is pre-recorded for everybody who's like, I keep missing the live streams. This one's pre-recorded, so there was no live stream. Okay, Bear. The global economic landscape is still in flux. In the U.S., jobless claims have crept up by another 13,000 in the last week of April. And consumers, investors, and analysts alike are keeping a wary eye on the banking sector. Also, Rooster says, what's up? South Korea has narrowly avoided a recession in the first part of this year, and the UK economy is predicted to shrink by an additional 0.6% in 2023. In fact, Germany and France both have had such minuscule growth this year because consumption has dwindled so markedly. Consumption is dwindling because the cost of doing business and the cost of existing is going up due to the devaluation of the dollar by inflation, which has a lot to do with central banks raising rate hikes to get people to quit spending money. Explain me that one, Lucy. China is actually at a risk of deflation. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, that's not a word. IMF, he sees me, I'm down. The IMF, the International Monetary Fund, the best word, tremendous, believe it, has raised its economic forecast for Asia specifically because overall, China is still recovering from pandemic-related policies that previously had quashed its growth. Quashed, great word. Word of the day, quashed. Quote, Asia and the Pacific remains a dynamic region, despite the somber backdrop of what looks to be shaping up as a challenging year for the world economy, end quote, reads their website, the IMF. The IMF did, however, warn of risks from both inflation and volatility stemming from the issues rocking the banking sector in the West. As if the whole of North America realized all of a sudden, holy crap, banks don't actually have money in them. No, that's not how fractional reserve banking works. It doesn't work that way. That is a box made of brick with a hole in the side of it where they pass pretend money out of to you. There's no, like that big metal vault in the back, it doesn't have any money in it. There's no money in there. And the money it does have, that's monopoly money. It's not made of gold, it's not made of silver. But what about central bank digital currencies? Buddy, you ever looked at the teller at the bank? Oh, hello, Mr. Bearman. Let me pull up your account. Oh, I have this check for $1 bajillion. This is Motrin. Worth $1 bajillion. Here you go. I'd like to deposit this. Okay, let me scan your piece of paper with numbers on it and then... Okay, we added $1 bajillion to your account. That's not money. That's still make-believe. All that shit is make-believe. Is central bank digital currency sinister? Yeah. Oh yeah, it's even more extra make-believe with even more controlling mechanisms. But homeboys, homegirls, we already have fake money. We already have digital money. $1 trillion added to your bank account, Mr. Bear. Have a wonderful day. All you need is a piece of paper with numbers on it, a piece of paper with numbers on it, to more money into your bank account magically. No wealth changed hands. You just got pretend numbers from one person and added those pretend numbers to the pretend numbers you already had. Okay? Like, the scales are falling from people's eyes. They're like, oh my gosh, there's no money in banks. Nope. Hasn't been since the 70s, homie. There's no money in banks. And it only took us 50 years to realize this. But I digress. Meanwhile, you're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. Most of the world is still riding the tide of wild inflation, and consumers of all nationalities are cautiously tightening their purse strings. April data out of China shows a weakening factory sector because we're not buying as much Chinese bullshit as we usually do, as activity continues to decrease because of that weak demand from markets. AKA, we're not buying as much Chinese bullshit as we used to. Not that there's been this grand awakening to the fact that the vast majority of Chinese produced stuff is bullshit. It's that people are like, do I buy the meat that's been shot full of the go-go juice from the feds? Do I buy, like, food? Or do I buy more garbage from Amazon? I guess food. Defaulting towards food. Although, yeah, Bear, you're so extra this morning. Yeah, I just got done with a ruck. I'm still riding that rucking high right now. Although, like, what is it? 52% of Americans are statistically obese. Maybe eat less food. Or like when you go to the grocery store, shop on the outside ring of the grocery store. That's where the foodiest food is, inside of that particular box with a hole in the side of it. Like, that's where you'll find vegetables, fruits, meat, air quote, meat is there, dairy that came out of a cow that was shot full of, hormones and stuff, cheese that was made from the milk of a cow shot full of hormones and stuff. All the good stuff you'll find on or the best stuff you can get out of the box with the hole in the side of it is around the edge. You start going through the middle where they take the box with the hole in the side of it and they put smaller boxes with poison inside of it, and you go up and down the aisles with all the poison inside of it, and you buy the shiny Mylar bags, that say like Doritos and Cheetos and Fritos. By the way, listen, my brothers and sisters, there is an Eatos conspiracy, right? Cheetos, Fritos, Doritos, Tostitos. What is up with the Eatos conspiracy? You ever stop and think about that one? You don't have enough tinfoil to contemplate the implications of the Eatos conspiracy. But I digress. Maybe 52% of the country should eat less food. Just throwing that out there. That's what they want, Bears, depopulation. Listen, yes, that's what they want. Also, what's the number one comorbidity of COVID-19? According to the science, obesity. Interesting. They're trying to kill all the fat people. All the fat people are trying to kill themselves. You cannot eat an entire box of Pop-Tarts in a sitting and be like, I'm healthy. Negative. It doesn't work that way. Read the damn report, Bear. Roger that. I'll read the damn report. Most of the world... Yeah, I know. We're only on paragraph dose. Most of the world is still riding the tide of wild inflation, with consumers of all nationalities cautiously tightening their purse strings. April data out of China shows a weakening factory sector as activities continue to decrease because of that weak demand from the markets. Because China is a major consumer of crude oil, that reduction in factory activity will ultimately reduce consumption of crude, which could further lower crude oil prices across the board. Yay? Question mark? The country's jobless rate, China's jobless rate, for its youth is near a record high, which means more potential downtown riots in Hong Kong and, all the other places, Shanghai and, all them places. Shanghai and China. Guys, I'm high on pre-workout. I apologize. Yeah. Riots of the youth because they have no jobs, they have no money, they have no food. Maybe we'll just have to have some more bat soup at the old Wuhan wet market to make all the youth simmer down, and then if we just happen to get another global pandemic, oh no, Mr. Bill Gates is super happy again. Fauci lied, people died, right? That's the current talking point. Boys and gerbils, an epic show of how to get demonetized in 10 minutes or less. Welcome to the Bear Independent channel. Read the damn report, Bear. All right. The country's jobless rate for its youth is near a record high, and like other peoples around the world, the Chinese are also reining back hard on spending because of the uncertain economic outlook. I'm gonna eat you. By the way, just a little tiddly bit for you to keep in your war chest of facts that you know. China is produces more CO2 emissions than every other, air quote, developed nation combined. So, you know, like all this green tech that's being pushed in the United States of America, we need electronic vehicles and solar panels and wind farms and hydroelectric, although they don't talk a lot about hydroelectric. That's because they're using HARP to control the weather, Bear. Whatever. Man, a bunch of you are living rent-free in my head with all your conspiracy theorist comments this morning. You're welcome, but rent is due. In fact, you're 4 days late on the rent, so pick it up. I know, economic tough times, but pick it up. Listen, China emits more CO2 than every other developed nation on the planet. They also make, like, the vast majority of solar panels and stuff. And so, why here in the United States of America, oh no, you can't have your natural gas plants anymore, you can't have your coal-fired plants, you can't have nuclear, which emits steam, and occasionally radioactive material in the bodies of water, but we don't really talk about that. You can't have all of that. You can't have your Peterbilt 379 long hood with a 600-horse twin-turbo Detroit and an 18-speed. You can't have that. Nope, you gotta buy one of them Tesla trucks or whatever. But China's over there literally blowing black smoke into the sky 24/7, 365. But, oh, by the way, New York, you can't have natural gas stoves anymore because, you know, the polar bears are gonna die because the ice floes are melting. Concerted effort to demoralize you and to point the economy of the United States towards large unattainable goals as first laid out in the mid-50s by the military-industrial complex in the report from Iron Mountain that brought us such greatest hits as the race to the moon, equality, war in Southeast Asia, climate change. Yeah, working great. It's working. They're doing a great job. In the U.S. specifically, the Fed decided to raise short-term interest rates for the 10th time, meaning a 16-year high. This is going to go great for us. It's going to be great. You know, there's two phases of preparedness. One is find a helmet, and the other is put on the damn helmet, per Ron White. We may be entering put on the damn helmet phase. The Federal Reserve might raise interest rates again as early as May, but recent weak economic data has raised hopes that the Fed may delay such an increase. Oh, please, Daddy Fed, be nice to me. Please, Daddy, don't whore in their system. GTFO. Create as much separation in between those raucous assholes and yourself as possible. Do not participate. Don't play the game. They will not let you pass go. They will not let you collect 200 doll hairs. You cannot build a hotel on Boardwalk. You're not playing that game. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. You'll eat the meat that they sell you to on the days that you're allowed to buy it because it's being rationed. And on the days that you can't have it, you can have tofu, grasshopper meat instead. And if you don't like that, you can eat the barley because that's all we got now. The bioengineered barley. Thank you, Monsanto. Or, you know, chickens, eggs, sheep, cattle, turkeys, and goats across the creek, and guinea hens and geese, and you know, trees and grass and hay and wheat and gardens and taters and you know, all that stuff. You sound like one of them domestic extremists. Okay, if the alternative is to be normal and eat the bug meat, I'll be an extremist. Thank you very much. Absolutely. You know, it's extreme the way that we have been living as an industrialized nation for approximately the last 100 years. The anomaly in the history of man is the last 100 years or so, not an agrarian way of life. The anomaly is your cul-de-sac and your brick 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and high-speed internet and sewer and flowing water. That's the anomaly. And cars and trucks and planes and tanks and bombs, oh my. That's the anomaly. Not, oh look, a cow. Buttercup. Cows won't eat that, but sheep will. Well, I guess I'll rotationally graze the cows out of there and move the sheep into there. And then that will allow the rye to come back up. And then as the rye comes back up, I'll move the sheep over there to where the buttercup is and move the cows back over here to where the rye's growing up again. You domestic terrorist, how dare you? Yeah, I know. Extremism. I'm doing a terrible job at reading the brief this morning, and I'm also doing a terrible job at caring. The Federal Reserve might raise interest rates again as early as May, but recent weak economic data has raised hopes that the Fed may delay such an increase. Seema Shah, the chief global strategist at Principal Asset Management, commented, quote, provided the economic data slows only gently and inflation remains elevated, and the banking sector volatility is fairly contained, provided three very large different metrics that we're not terribly sure about, then we think a June hike is still possible, end quote. Oh yeah, it's definitely confidence inspiring. Thank you, Seema Shah. Beside that, concerns about America's rising debt and interest rates may also put a damper on the economy and subsequently the Fed's enthusiasm for another hike. Right? Like, the beatings will continue until morale improves. But also, please give me the paper money out of the hole in the box. Yeah, no, but the beatings will continue until morale improves. Roger that. We are in an abusive relationship with the Fed and the system, and like a battered woman, we just keep going back. They'll be good to us this time. He's changed. I promise. It's gonna be fine. I just fell down the stairs. I hit my eye on the doorknob. I'm such a klutz. He loves me. Bullshit. The United States national debt has now surpassed 130% of its gross domestic product. Some analysts have argued that this amount of debt can lead to inflation. You think? Currency devaluation. Where have I seen? And other greatest hits by the central government. And other economic issues. Once again, Republicans and Democrats will have to come together to either raise or suspend the $31.4 trillion borrowing limit by June. The alternative would be a debt default. Or maybe, I apologize for being such a religious extremist, or we read the Bible and we reset debt every 50 years on what's called the year of Jubilee, so everybody gets a clean slate, so we don't have inflation, we don't have deflation, we don't have overvaluation of certain assets, people maintain an inheritance, which means you don't need a welfare system, and we obey the basic commands of forsake not the widow and orphan. You domestic terrorist, you read the blue book and do what it says? I know, right? As if I shouldn't be afraid of God, but I should fear man instead. I know. Can you believe it? It's terrible. Terrible, I tell you. You know what you should do? Drive an M1 Abrams through the side of my house and throw some tear gas in there. Oops, it's set on fire now. Oops. Now listen, I'm not saying that Koresh was a good guy. He wasn't. That dude was very likely a pedophile. But I am saying that the ATF and the FBI don't get to drive tanks through the side of people's houses either. Whole different rabbit hole. Have you seen that documentary on Netflix? Super interesting. but Netflix is a global... Yeah, I know, they're all global elitist snobs. Super aware. Take it with a grain of salt, you know? Have a whiskey and some popcorn and watch the 3-part series. Or don't, you know? Your life is yours, however you choose to spend it. The alternative to raising the debt limit would be a debt default, which would naturally have severe consequences for not just the U.S. economy, but the entire financial system of the world. Maybe we'll get a debt default and the aliens will show up, and that will be the thing that unites us. And then, like, Elon bugs out to Mars. He's like, peace out, homeboys. I'm done with this planet. Financial markets would tank, Social Security payments would be halted, and chaos would ensue. Yay! The Treasury Department has announced that it will take extraordinary measures to continue paying the country's bills. While all this sounds extreme, the same phrase was used in 2021, which was a banner year, by the way. Remember the good old days, 2021? Miss those days. Lockdowns, face diapers, two things and another thing, tyranny, you know. What all this really means is that accounting changes will be taken behind the scenes to allow lawmakers more time. A lot of hullabaloo is made in the media about raising the debt ceiling every time the issue arises for politicians, but it is unlikely that a potential debt default will actually take place. Still, the global landscape is complex, and individuals and small businesses alike have the least power to influence the greater fiscal environment that they find themselves in. As small businesses are the most vulnerable to rising interest rates, it's recommended that they should consider reducing their debt levels and diversifying their revenue streams, if they have not already done so. Sounds like something I say like every week to you when we talk about economics. For example, a business could consider leasing equipment rather than going into debt for large purchases and exploring new markets or product lines. I'm looking at you. Yes, you. Yes, I'm talking to you. Business gets hard, no matter what you do. Sometimes the pivot that you're looking at isn't the pivot that you need to make, right? Don't give up. Don't stop, because life is hard. Oh no, I have a business and it's hard. Yeah, it's going to be hard for you, or you could just go do hard shit for your boss somewhere else. Now, entrepreneurs represent approximately 2% of the world's population. Then when you factor in that 90% of businesses go out of business in the first 5 years, that means that successful entrepreneurs represent approximately 0.2% of the world's population. So congratulations, there are 2 of you in every 1,000 people who are successful business owners. Good job. It's still friggin' hard. By the way, again, that little blue book that I like to read occasionally, there's nothing in there that says, believe in Jesus and your life will be easy. Nope, not in there. It says your life will be good. And do not conflate easy and good. Easy being good is the bullshit that the system sells to you. Buy this little round thing that you charge it and it flows through your house and vacuums the floor. Oh, hey Siri, play the Bee Gees or whatever you're into, right? Like, Alexa. Yeah, thank you, CIA, NSA, for those spying devices. That's not good. But it's so easy. I'm on Amazon auto order for my trash bags for my house. Okay, it's not necessarily good just because it's easy. It's easy to sit on the couch and eat a box of Pop-Tarts. Is it good for you? No, it's the opposite, right? So you're in business and it's hard. Wah. Yeah, nothing worth doing is easy. Keep going. Don't be a chump. Keep going. Now, maybe you need to keep going and diversify your product line. Maybe you need to keep going and murder your debt. Maybe you need to keep going and instead of financing a piece of equipment, you need to lease it or stack your pennies and then buy it. Maybe you need to form strategic partnerships. Maybe what you've been doing got you to this point, but in order for you to get to where you're going next, and where are you going next for the people suffer for a lack of vision, if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting the same results that you've been getting, right? So if you want more, do more, or do something differently that has a greater return on that investment of time. And time is your greatest asset. And see, that's what most freaking people miss. Well, I'm just going to stop and start over somewhere else. You lost all momentum if you do that. If you pivot, you still maintain momentum. You ever taken your foot off the accelerator so that you can just glide around a corner while you're driving? That's different than slamming on the brakes, putting it in park, then going back into first gear and starting over again, right? You lose all your momentum when you stop. You can pivot. You maintain a lot of momentum when you pivot, but if you stop, you've lost all that momentum. And it takes time and energy, a much greater amount of time and energy to get started again going somewhere else, or even to continue going in the direction you were going, than if you had just pivoted. And people miss how valuable time is. It's literally irreplaceable. Jeff Bezos cannot buy one more second of time. Not one more second of time. Bill Gates cannot buy one more second of time. The lizard people who run the Council on Foreign Relations, who have infected the White House and all governments across the planet, cannot buy one more second of time. But what about John Titor and time travel, Bear? Tinfoil, whiskey, meet you at the fire. We'll have a conversation. My point is, don't squander that resource just because it got hard. Yeah. You know, and here's the other thing. Okay, the economy is probably going to go to shit. We're going to figure out who actually has moves and who doesn't. You're going to see a lot of companies go out of business because their whole business model was predicated on cheap capital and financing and low-cost goods from China and you having the largesse, having the headroom in your bank account or in your checkbook each week with your pretend money that comes out of the box with a hole in the side of it to be able to buy their cheap bullshit. Okay. Separate the wheat from the chaff. Don't be chaff, bro. All the rabbit holes this morning. You're welcome. You paid precisely $0 for this, so I guess you get what you pay for. Booby dooby doo. It could be argued that the same could apply to individuals. To reduce debt and diversify revenue streams is to fortify one's financial situation against volatility. In the individual's case, paying off high-interest debts and acquiring scalable side hustles is a great start. You bet. You bet. That's the brief. We've got some national intel from the Bear Nation. Intel@bearindependent.com is the email address for the national intel. If you can't spell Bear Independent, you don't get to provide intelligence. Bonus intel, Bear Independent 5MAY23. From the these are all quotes, by the way. I'm not going to say quote over and over again. From the Kaiser Permanente, which is a great name. I freaking love that name. From the Kaiser Permanente's medical group of Northern California Pharmacy's website, quote, there's a national shortage of stimulant medications that is impacting all pharmacies. This may include brand and generic forms of Adderall, Concerta, and Ritalin used to treat ADHD and some other conditions, end quote. Yay. Yay. Not only is it going to get weird economically, it's going to get weird socially as more and more people can't afford or don't have access to their meds. So you're going to start seeing like people smoking bath salts, eating each other's faces again. And in other news, 55 grain Amax 223 or 556, whatever you're into, works great on deer. I use it as a deer round. So something you might consider for your deer hunting. Next, 14 active shooter threats on the same day in Tennessee. Coincidence or coordination? I work in EMS for county government. Earlier today, I was on scene at a local high school for multiple reports of an active shooter event. While on scene, we were informed by law enforcement that there was likely a SWAT out and that similar events had been reported in numerous locations across Tennessee. Thankfully, we did not have any active shooters today. Additionally, in recent weeks, there was another instance of an active shooter event reported inside one of our hospitals. There were no shooters or victims. False call. Stay safe, prepare, and hug the ones you love often. Great intel there. Yeah, the big they are going to keep doing this until they get the mandate in their democracy where 51% of people agree that no, we can't have scary weapons anymore, so that they can disarm you, so they can continue to centralize power at the federal level, because the whole thing's going to go to hell in a handbasket, and the fewer people they have to take care of, the better. And all centralized authorities sooner or later disarm their people, become a dictatorship, and then they starve you out or they kill you. Don't worry, he loves me. I just fell down the steps, but he's been really... Oh, I know, sometimes he just gets a little angry. Or disassociate yourself from the broken, fragile system. Shall we coffee? Let's coffee. Next, my primary employment is delivering 53-foot triple reefer trailers of food. We deliver in multiple countries to the warehouses that then deliver to restaurants and convenience stores. The company that I work for is the largest in the world at this. I wonder who that could be. Several $billions a year in revenue. The company is so well run that they have never laid off an employee for even a day in over 60 years. They gave us our monthly business forecast, which stated that the next 2 periods will bring large jumps in volume as expected, and we are purchasing inventory now to meet demand, so get ready for a busy season. Then they reached out just a few days later and said, looks like we missed the mark on that. Please be warned that we will be looking to invent many new ways to keep the trucks rolling. So please hang in there with us as we navigate the next 2 periods. Interesting. That was about 3 weeks ago. This week I stayed home as many days as I worked, which has never happened in the 10 years that I've been with them. Now it is only 1 week and certainly not yet a pattern, but I am number 1 man on my lot. If they are parking me, then they're parking everybody else. The nosedive in orders was very deep, and the drop in freight prices must be too low to justify turning the ignition or freight loads were otherwise unavailable. That's great intel. If you could, please keep us updated on how that's going with the company that shall not be named. Next, and last, I live in Jefferson County, Wisconsin. I graduated from Jefferson Senior High School. My parents still live in Jefferson. Tyson had a plant in Jefferson. That plant was once family owned by the Stop and Back family. A few years ago, small town families experienced Union 101 when husband and wives who both worked at Tyson hit the picket line. Fast forward to modern day and that Tyson plant has closed. The small town of roughly 7,000 people has its own utility company. Jefferson Utilities based prices for residential customers with Tyson in the fiscal equation. Since they already purchased vehicles and resources to service the community, including Tyson, they spent money they did not have. So Jefferson Utilities is passing on the lost revenue to each resident of Jefferson. Oh, and yes, my parents are both retired and on fixed income. So if you live in Jefferson and worked at Tyson, you lost the union paycheck and your utilities increased. All in a small town with no new business coming in. To complicate it all, they built a bypass to alleviate downtown traffic. So, I guess the price of OSB, or Oriented Strand Board, will be on the rise as they shutter the town over the next 10 years or so. I did not think that this was intel until the brief today. Just a little insight for some nation members who may be in a similar situation with one of the shrinking companies you listed. Thank you, and I'm sorry to hear about that in Jefferson. Disassociate from the broken, fragile system to the best of your ability. Get out of the abusive relationship. That's the brief for today. If you're one of those people that leaves when it's time to talk about how to support the show, this is your polite invitation as I go piss off my porch to beat feet, skedaddle, get out of here, have a blessed day, shalom. For everybody else, I'm going to go urinate. And then when I'm done with that, we'll come back and talk about how to support the show. Okay? Okay, Bear. Stand by, everybody. It'll be quick. I promise. Hey, baby.
Hi.
I'm recording.
Okay. We got fence down and cows out.
Oh! Where's the fence down?
What?
Where's the fence down?
Over there. Tito's over here in the thicket.
Oh, they're down on our side of the creek?
What?
They're down on our side of the creek?
It's down on our side.
Okay.
Tito's right there.
Okay.
I think he's the only one that's out right now.
Cool. Which gun do you want me to shoot him with?
None.
None? Okay.
No. I just opened the gate in hopes that maybe he'll like meander.
I'm tracking.
So, finish your brief.
I will finish the brief and then we'll do cowboy stuff.
Okay.
Alright. Well, we're also talking about, we're doing 50 weeks of preparedness. We talked about bugging out earlier in the week. And what I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about today, you think about your bug out bag as like line 3. There's this military concept of like line gear, line 1, line 2, line 3. Think about your bug out bag as like line 3. What about lines 1 and 2? Well, your EDC everyday carry should function as like your line 1. And you should have a robust EDC on you at all times. At all times. Cause reasons. And I'm not going to do one of those EDC video pocket dump things. But I can tell you, as a basic rule of thumb, I always have a pistol and at least one of these, sometimes two. I have a minimum of a tourniquet on me. I actually have a blowout kit in my lower left cami pocket right now, a lighter and a knife at a minimum. And knife today is from Utica Knife Company. Very nice. They sent this to me for T&E and I like it immensely. So EDC, like your Amex card, don't leave home without it. Like you should have a robust EDC and you should get in the habit of carrying it all the time. Now, I was just informed by my lovely, talented helpmeet that apparently we have some cow fence down somewhere and the big boss man Bull has decided to extricate himself from the fenced portion of the pasture. Cowboy stuff. I'm thinking 308. I'm thinking 308 would be just fine for this mission. How to support the show? Well, this morning on Patreon, and links in the description, by the way, for all this stuff. The upload for Patreon today was May Q&A, part 1, where we discussed such greatest hits as what does your nighttime fighting rifle look like, and what does your bump in the night kit look like, and many other wonderful things that you may enjoy. It's $5 per month. There's a minimum of 20 pieces of exclusive content per month, including the Pelt, the Patreon exclusive live stream Thursday, which we did for 2.5 hours last night. So go check that live stream out. RefugeMedical.com, a little company I founded in my barn 4 years ago that's now on 4 continents, that has saved 73 lives to date, that like helps you be prepared not only for when the world ends, but in your 90% context every day. Like if you get into a car wreck, you or your loved ones won't die, and that's a super awesome feeling. Or at least you will be able to do something preventatively to assist in the massive bleeding and potential punctures to your pleural space that likely will occur from a bad car wreck. And so we make life-saving gear here in the United States of America. We guarantee it forever. It's the best you can freaking buy. It's HSA, FSA eligible, so you can feel good about not having to spend necessarily your money, but you can get some company kickback on buying this stuff as well. And all of our stuff's in stock. So when you order it, we send it to you. Not you buy it and then I go and buy the stuff and put the kit together and then turn around and sell it to you a couple weeks later. No, it's like it's in stock. If it's out of stock, it'll say out of stock on the website. We got all kinds of flavors of kits. We have a handful of these left. Bob, the CEO, was telling me these are the Origin Western IFAKs. And so they come in 2 different colors, 2 different camo patterns. This is Origin Mains. You know, Jocko, the Navy SEAL guy. This is their camo pattern. Jocko and Pete and Travis and Trey and all those guys over there. This is their camo pattern. And they have graciously partnered with us to be able to, the best words, produce these kits in their camo pattern. And this is more than just a bear fact. This also has some survival gear in it, including a Sawyer mini water filter and a squeeze pouch and a backwash syringe and a Refuge Bic lighter made in Connecticut and American-made fire starter as well in here. So it's more of a survival kit than just a bear fact. And just a bear fact, bro? Come on. So there's a handful of that original run of 250 of those that are left. We've got the SOB in stock, small to back kit. This is a very tiny, compact, weighs 1 pound first aid kit that works great on a gun belt or a duty belt, chest rig, plate carrier, whatever. Molly and belt loop compatible. And you rip this open, pull this pouch out. You got your tourniquet on the outside. And you got your inner pouch full of everything you need. Combat gauze and compressed gauze and pressure bandages and gloves and nasal pharyngeal airways and chest seals and Sharpies. Oh my. Like all the stuff you need in this little compact pouch. Super awesome. Made in the United States of America. Not North America, which means Mexico. Made in the United States of America. And the ARC, the Advanced Rip-Away Kit, right here. You ever seen one of these? I sure have. You can mount this on the headrest of your car. Comes with these straps for this, behind the passenger side headrest. Or you can mount it on your plate carrier, your chest rig, your war belt, your face. You could probably put these straps around your face and just have it right here. And then when you need a purpose-built first aid kit, you just pop this buckle like that. You grab the kit and you rip it off. The Advanced Rip-Away Kit. It even has this little red handle back here that you can pop up when you mount this. Gertrude the cow, you hear her? She's very pissed that her husband is outside the fence. She's just going on and on right now. Rip this sucker off. Now you got your kit. Pop this open. Got all the things you need. 2 chest seals, 2 compressed gauze, combat gauze, nasal pharyngeal airways, S-mark, shears, Committee on TCCC recommended windlass tourniquet, not some knockoff piece of China garbage bullshit, but a real freaking tourniquet on here, and all the accoutrement, and as always, made in the United States of America. So we got all this stuff at refugemedical.com. Your promo code is BearNation for free shipping. And check it out, or don't, whatever, whatever you're into. Check it out. We super duper appreciate you supporting our small businesses. Refuge training. We just added a whole bunch of classes, including certified CPR and AED. So you will be certified or recertified for CPR and AED if you come to that class. The bleeding prevention class, which is a condensed version of our Responder 1, more affordable than Responder 1, as well as Responder 1, Responder 2, and Responder 3. But Bear, what are those? Read the course descriptions at refugetraining.com. Think of crawl, walk, run. Responder 1, Responder 2, Responder 3. And there are classes in Pensacola, Oklahoma, which is near Fort Smith, Arkansas, which has an airport in it, a national airport in it, and is approximately a 4-hour drive from Dallas and a 3-hour drive from Tulsa and a 2-hour drive from Fayetteville, Arkansas, where there are major airports. I will be there. I will yell at you. I will teach you how to not die, as will all of our other fine instructors at refugetraining.com. So class dates are in the store at refugetraining.com. Go check that out. Lastly, but certainly not leastly, grindstoneministries.com. If you'd like to support our ongoing mission to punch pedophiles in the junk, make sure bad stuff happens to them, and then rescue kids that they have serially abused, click the donate button at grindstoneministries.com. There's a link in the description to all this horse pucky that I'm talking about. And of course, you can find our Caleb House swag from our brother and sister at Sanctified Supply Co. T-shirts, long sleeves, hoodies, the Saws t-shirt, our brother Rex, his t-shirt. There's links to all that stuff down below. Support American small businesses, homeboy, homegirl. Get some. The economy could collapse tomorrow. The box with the hole in the side of it could stop giving us the pretend money any day now. And then what? Well, I wished I'd bought a bear fact before the world ended. I know, me too. Whatever. It's okay. This blue marble we live on, a ticking time bomb. Until then, live your life. Enjoy it. Do meaningful shit. Help people. Do things that matter. Think about what your legacy is going to be. What if the world doesn't end and you quit operating because you were afraid that it was gonna? Ooh. Bless y'all. Shalom. Hit the button. I'm trying.